Hey everyone, Matt here from Docs Running, and today we're going to do a comparison review of two incredibly popular stability lines, the ASICS GT-2000 series and the Brooks Adrenaline series. So these two have been popular in running stores, running retail, online for many years. You'll see these on lots of feet, from runners to walkers to all kinds of different things. Both the updates to these shoes are great. They're awesome. The GT-2000 series, I love version 12, which is where the big update happened. Version 13 refines that a little bit, and it's still been an absolute favorite. I'm getting close to 100 miles here, so I'll have a 100-mile review really soon. The Brooks Adrenaline GTS 24 is a brand new update to their series that really moves it ahead. I'm going to be honest that I've been a little bit frustrated with the Adrenaline for a while, just because the heel's been a little clunky, and it just felt like kind of a classic, older 12mm drop shoe. And while it's still 12mm drop, it totally redoes that with a much smoother heel bevel that I think is, and a much better design that, in my opinion, is going to make this much more competitive against something like the GT-2000. But there are some similarities here that may make it confusing to go, hey, if you're interested in a moderate stability shoe, which ones you should consider, and hopefully this video will help you make the decision if you're even interested in either one of these two. So let's start off with specs first. I'm going to do men's size 10 for both of these. The new Adrenaline GT24, which by the way I will do a separate review of, so do not worry. The new Adrenaline comes in at 10.8 ounces for men's size 10, or my size 10, which is about 306 grams, and the GT-2013 comes in at 9.8 grams, or about 274 grams. Stack height wise, the GT-2000 is a little bit higher with a 35.5 millimeters heel, 27.5 millimeter forefoot for an 8mm drop. And I'm going to give a little caveat here. The Adrenaline is slightly lower, and I can feel that because I'm wearing the opposite ones on my feet right now. The things that we were given says 25 millimeters in the heel, 13 in the forefoot, but I don't think that includes the insole. Most insoles are about 5 millimeters, so we're going to put this at about 30 millimeters in the heel, 18 millimeters in the forefoot for, of course, a 12mm drop, but it doesn't feel like that, ironically. So let's start with the midsoles first. The Pure Gel and the Flight Foam Blast Plus over in the ASICS GT-2013 does feel slightly softer. It is the more snappier of the two of these shoes, a little bit more bounce in the midsole, and it's really been a great shoe for both easy runs, long runs, but it also does very well on workouts because there's a little bit of bounce and it's a little bit lighter, as you can tell from the original specs, and it just snaps a little bit well. So if you want a shoe that can handle some up-tempo stuff, this works really well. A little bit stiffer but smooth from heel to forefoot. The bevel has gotten better. It's small but still posterior lateral, and a slightly stiffer forefoot makes it really snappy to transition off the forefoot when you want that. The Adrenaline's a little different. It's been updated with DNA Loft version 3, which makes it much more cushioned than the past version, so it's not as firm, but comparatively it's still slightly firmer than the two of these shoes. But it has a really nice posterior lateral heel bevel, which Brooks absolutely awesome job on this. Makes the heel transition way smoother, does not feel like a 12mm drop shoe, and transitions really nice. There is more flexibility for the forefoot, so if you want a little bit more flexibility, the Adrenaline GTS 24 is going to actually have a little bit better through the forefoot. Heel and midfoot are fairly stiff, but the forefoot has a really nice smooth transition, which doesn't make it as fast, but definitely makes it a really good cruiser for long runs and easy runs. Picking up the pace is a little bit more challenging because, again, just a teeny bit heavier, but it's really not bad, and I've actually been able to do some strides, and it's not horrible. But of the two of them, the GTS 2013 is going to be the faster shoe of the two of them, a little bit snappier and bouncier. The Adrenaline's going to be slightly firmer, but a little easier going and really nice rolling from both heel to forefoot. So great job, Brooks, on that. Also, great job, ASICS, for continuing to update this shoe. I'm really excited to see what version 14 will look like. In terms of the stability, they are different. While they are technically in the moderate stability category, the Adrenaline wins as the higher stability of the two of these. And because it's still using a post using the GTS system, and you can see it goes all the way from the heel into the midfoot, and it's really prominent. It definitely feels like a medial post, and from the heel all the way in the midfoot, it is fairly noticeable. The sole is also flared quite a bit in the forefoot, so even as I roll up the forefoot, it still feels like there's medial support there. So it's the higher stability of the two of them, whereas the GTS 2013, I really feel it in the medial midfoot. Yes, both these have lateral stability elements, a little bit better in the Adrenaline, so if you need lateral stability needs, Adrenaline's probably going to be the better option option for you unless you're sensitive to post. Whereas it is still present because the geometry of the GT-2013, you sit into it, so it's really nice and keeps you fairly centered, but it's just got a little bit more medial stability here that's really prominent in the midfoot, especially with that little bit of sidewall. But I don't feel it as much through the forefoot and the heel compared to the Adrenaline. It's not to say this isn't stable, it is. I would categorize the GTS 2013 as more of a mild to moderate stability shoe, and the Adrenaline still wins as the moderate to maybe high stability shoe. So if you need a little bit more stability, the Adrenaline's probably going to be a little bit better option for you on the medial side. If you need just a little bit it kind of varies a little bit, you want maybe a little bit to a moderate amount, the GTS 213 is going to be the better option for you. And so both these are going to have a place, but just for slightly different needs in that regard. In terms of fit, these are also a little bit different. The Adrenaline has a slightly lower volume, but slightly wider fit throughout. Previous Adrenalines have fit me slightly short. This is not the case, so someone's a little bit more true to size, but the volume is quite low, which is a little extra wiggle room, especially in the forefoot, which is really, really nice. The GT 2013 is a little bit more snug. I would not call it high volume, but it's a teeny more volume height-wise, so there's a little bit more wiggle room, but it is a teeny bit more snug. I will say this has broken after obviously 70-plus miles. It's fitting a little bit better, but if you have a little bit more narrow foot or just want something a teeny bit more snug, the GT 2000 might be a little bit better option, whereas if you have a little bit wider foot, and both these come in wides to my knowledge, someone please correct me if I'm wrong on that. If you need just a teeny bit more room, the Adrenaline is going to be the better option, especially if you need a little bit lower volume. Both of them, by the way, have fairly stiff heel counters, so if you are someone with heel issues, a Haglund deformity or heel sensitivities, these may not be the best options. Neither one of them has bothered me though, because they have very, very good heel collar cushioning. The Adrenaline actually wins for this just because there's a little bit more padding back there, but both of them haven't bothered me at all, and they've worked out really, really well. So both really still deserve the title of being top stability shoes on the market. We'll see if they make it toward the end of the year with other stuff coming out. But I'm going to encourage you to really consider these if you need mild to moderate stability and moderate to high stability. Both these are very good options. The GTS 2013 has a little bit more versatility to speed stuff, but still a great daily trainer. The Adrenaline's got a little bit more stability and a little bit longer throughout the length of it comparatively, with a really smooth heel bevel. If you've tried the Adrenaline before, I'm really going to encourage you to try the new version. I'm just really impressed with Brooks, and I'm really impressed with ASICS. These two shoes are massive changes for many of the prior stuff. So again, hope this video helps you as always. If you have different opinions, like Isabella clearly does, please let me know in the comments below. Let me also know if this was helpful or not. As always, I do this, and we do this at Doctors Running, to try to help you figure out what might work best for you, because ultimately we know things are confusing, and like I said, hope this helps you make a better decision.